So there's this popular opinion going around that if Judas had asked for forgiveness, he would have been forgiven. I beg to differ. Hear me out. All right, so there's something called negative prophecy, all right? It was written in the scripture, okay, that he was going to be betrayed, he was going to be sold, and everything. And Judas was following Jesus. He was a disciple of Jesus. He was not a visitor. He was not an outsider. He was an insider. He heard all of Jesus' teaching. He heard everything. He knew what was happening. And somehow, he still placed himself to be used. Do you understand? Now, I'm not saying that Judas would not have been forgiven if he had asked on it. No, I'm just saying that he had put himself in a position for Satan to use. And if you read the scripture, Jesus said there is one, the devil has entered his heart. There were just scriptures that Judas aligned. It didn't have to be Judas. It actually could have been anybody else. But it's just like the scripture has laid down things and said, oh, if you do this, this will happen. If you do that, that will happen. Judas was very much aware of the consequences of being a betrayer. In fact, so in the book of John, all right, as you read towards the end of his journey with the disciples, Jesus actually put a curse on the person who will betray him. Does that sound like somebody that was going to be forgiven? Well, if somehow he had beaten the odds and asked for forgiveness, I am very sure he would have been forgiven. But I'm saying he put himself in a position for Satan to use, a position he was clearly aware of. Now, before you go on talking about Peter and saying, but after all, Peter denied Jesus. Let me tell you why Peter denied Jesus. If you follow that story, if you read up to the point where Peter denied Jesus, you realize that Peter was so overwhelmed. Peter was a very overzealous guy. He was always very quick to talk. Don't forget, said now the same Peter where after Jesus died, he go back to fishing. So he was that kind of person. Actually, he was somebody who would say much more than he could do. So it was Jesus' way of calming him down. Like, guy, calm down. This is my journey. You're not yours. Okay, see, let me even tell you. By the time the cock crows, you would have denied me twice. He was like, So that was Jesus just taming his overconfidence. It's not the same thing. Judas was very aware. He had followed Jesus. He just placed himself in a position for Satan to be used. I hope I've been able to convince and not confuse you that I think Judas did not stand a chance of forgiveness. I just think so. I may be wrong, but I've been reading, if you check my last video, okay, the video before this, I've been reading the book of John. And, well, I don't know. What do you think?